How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to That Car Vlog channel. If you don't already know, my name is Andy, and today I've got something really cool for you. The 2024 Chevrolet Colorado ZR2 Bison. That is a mouthful, but it is a really cool mouthful. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the folks here at West Chevrolet of Alcoa, Tennessee for allowing me to use this truck for today's review. Once you're done watching, make sure to check the description below for a link to their website where you can check out their amazing inventory and maybe send them some business because they're awesome people for letting me review their cars. All right, let's get to the Bison. In April this year, 2024, I uploaded a video of the standard 24 Chevy Colorado ZR2. And in that video, I went in depth, inside, outside, all around the truck, showed all the features of the new Chevy Colorado, especially the ZR2. I'm not gonna go as in depth in this video because I have that one. So if you haven't seen that one, do go back and watch it. I'll put a link to that video in the description below to make it easy for you guys. I think you'll really enjoy that video. These trucks actually have a lot of cool features. But today we're going to check out this truck specifically, the most badass version of the new Chevy Colorado, the ZR2 Bison edition. And I will touch on some of the key points inside and out, but mostly we're going to talk about what makes this thing a Bison. So let's first talk generally how this thing becomes a Bison. So the way this is done is Chevrolet takes their standard ZR2 Colorado, or Silverado for that matter. There's also a GMC Canyon version of this truck as well. Chevrolet GMC, they take these trucks and they partner with a company out of Montana known as American Expedition Vehicles, AEV, a company specializing in off-road trucks and conversions. AEV supplies Chevrolet with all kinds of upgraded parts to turn these things into the absolute most badass version of these trucks they can. And that's how you get an AEV Bison from Chevrolet or GMC. Now your standard ZR2 Colorado will start you right around $46,800 before any options and before this package. You want the AEV, add $11,700 to that price tag. I know it's a lot of money, but that gets you a lot of great off-road upgrades on these trucks, and we'll show you that here in this video. So of course we're going to start on the outside of the truck like I do in all my reviews, and first looking at the color on this particular tester I've got today. Sand Dune Metallic is the name of this color, and I think it's probably the best color to get on this version of this truck, especially with the black accents and the big black wheels. This thing looks tough and ready to take on pretty much anything, especially with that color. I love that color. Very outdoorsy. Now looking at your nose here, it is pretty much the same as your standard ZR2 Colorado. You get the LED headlights, you get the flow tie outlined in red right here. It's really nice. I think you get a better idea of how the color contrast works on your ZR2 Colorado with this lighter color, unlike with the black one I reviewed, which is a good thing in my opinion. So we're gonna come down here and check out the bumper, and this is the first upgrade we're gonna see from AEV on this truck. This high strength, tough steel bumper. You got AEV stamped right there where the plate mounts to. Coming down below that, you get this skid plate right here, which continues into that skid plate right there. That's going to protect your engine from any kind of damage out there off-road. These big red recovery hooks right here. So if you get stuck or someone else gets stuck, either way, you got a point to hook to either help them or yourself. As you come around the corner, you see you get a little AEV Bison badge right here in the corner of the bumper. You're going to see AEV with the Bison a lot in this truck. And then we come to the wheels. Now your standard Colorado ZR2 comes with 17-inch wheels, optional beadlock capables, which I believe are the ones we have here, which are nice, with factory 33-inch mud terrain tires. But this is the Bison, which gets you factory 35-inch mud terrain tires. And you see these black 17-inch wheels. These are very similar to the ones you'll find on the Bison version of the Silverado. However, these are a little bit different because there's a 17s and the Silverado gets 18s. And here's the part I think is crazy, but definitely an advantage for the Colorado. Your Silverado only comes with 33-inch tires on its Bison edition, whereas the Colorado gets 35s. That's kind of cool. Of course, you get factory rock rails that run all the way down the side. You're definitely going to need those. You can get side steps to bolt onto these, but I mean, that's going to mess with your ground clearance. There's no use in that. Dropping down underneath the truck, you get even more skid plating. I mean, all the way down, you get this plate right here for your transfer case, this one right here for your gas tank, and this one right here for your rear differential. So Chevrolet definitely gives you a lot of skid plate protection underneath this truck because they know you're going to be doing some serious off-roading with this thing. Looking here at the wheel, you still get the same Multimatic DSSV dampers that you get on your standard ZR2, but in front of that you get these additional DSSV jounce control dampers. Once again, the suspension is tuned for some serious off-roading. As we come around back, you're going to see the ZR2 Bison sticker here on the side of the truck. That looks really nice. And down from that, you get the AEV rear bumper. This is, again, a solid steel bumper. You get these really big, thick, tough recovery points right here. I mean, you'll definitely be able to pull somebody out with this thing, or maybe them pull you out. I mean, these are these things are huge. Just pan across, check out that whole AEV rear bumper right there. That thing is tough looking. You get a little AEV Bison badge here on the tailgate, as you would expect. And of course, you get bigger, more aggressive fender flares on the Bison edition of your Colorado. You got bigger tires, so you're gonna get bigger flares. And then we have this right here, the vertical bed mounted spare tire carrier, because you're getting a spare 35-inch matching wheel and tire with this truck, which is probably gonna be way too much tire to put under here. Now, I don't know if they did that because it simply won't fit or not, but whether or not it will, I'm sure a tire that big would probably contribute to a reduced departure angle of at least a little bit. Not to mention, it's going to be a lot more accessible if you are off-road, one of the tires pops and you need to replace it real quick. It's right there, you can just grab it. Now, that's cool, but I think it's going to be a little bit problematic. I'm sure I don't actually have to say what I mean by that. Now, I did cover the bed and tailgate in the video of the standard ZR2, but I'm still going to show it in this video again because it is kind of neat. Now, you do have a bed-lined bed right here, which is really nice. Get you a 120-volt house-type plug right here. But the coolest upgrade Chevy did is right here in the tailgate itself, the StowFlex tailgate storage compartment. So you got a lever right here. We're going to flip it that way, flip this lever over here that way, and pick up on this thing, and you have a storage compartment in the tailgate of the truck. This is kind of cool. Once you're done, just close it, flip those levers back into position, and you are ready to roll with things stored in your tailgate. Now, I'm sure the people out there comparing this thing to trucks such as a Ranger Raptor or a Tacoma TRD Pro are going to be wondering what exactly the clearance specifications are on this truck. So here we go. You already get a factory lift with your standard ZR2 Colorado, and now you get the bigger tires, giving you a total ground clearance on this thing of 12.2 inches. Your standard ZR2 only has 10.7 inches of ground clearance. Approach angle, 38.2 degrees. Departure angle, 26 degrees. Breakover angle, 26.9 degrees. Stepping inside your Colorado ZR2 Bison, your interior remains pretty much unchanged from the standard ZR2. You get this combination black and Artemis gray interior. It's a really nice looking interior for an off-road truck. You get the yellow stitching in it, pretty much unchanged. The differences you get in your Bison, however, is you do get these nice all-weather floor mats with the AEV Bison logo right there integrated into them. And then up here on the headrest of the front seats, you do also get AEV Bison logo stitched into the headrest. A nice cool touch to differentiate this thing a little bit on the interior from your standard ZR2. And I will also point out the camo type pattern here on the vent surrounds and in this little storage tray behind the screen and on your wireless phone charger and here inside your cup holders. Just a neat little touch if you're into that Chevy puts in the ZR2 versions of these trucks. You still get the Bose 7-speaker premium audio system in this thing. Directly in front of you, you get the 11-inch gauge cluster screen with all the great layouts in it. Among them, of course, you have this one right here, the full screen map, the full screen Google map. A great thing to have in a vehicle with a full screen gauge cluster. Like I say in every video, I hope every company starts doing this. Going on from that, the other cool display you get is right here, the off-road display right in front of you in the gauge cluster screen with your pitch and roll over here, your four-wheel drive status here with steering angle and everything right there. You get your speed up here and a few important gauges right in the middle. Definitely the coolest layout in the gauge cluster screen. And then, of course, here you have the 11.3-inch infotainment screen with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Amazon Alexa. Very nice, responsive screen right here. If you do want the full screen map over here, you can have it, but you're also going to have it in the gauge cluster screen as well. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I did go into full detail about this screen as well as everything else about this truck in the standard ZR2 video, so I'm not going to touch on everything in here, but I do want to show the key features in here, such as the off-road screen right here, which is going to show you all the different things you want to know when you're off-road on the trail. Here you got Baja mode for your high-speed off-roading, with, of course, your G-force display right here, as well as your four-wheel drive status and steering angle over here. Terrain mode for when you're going to do more serious off-roading, like rock crawling and more technical stuff. You got your pitch and roll over here, and of course your tire pressure monitor right there. And then of course you got the overlanding screen right here with your compass and, I don't know, elevation. Like I said in the first video, not entirely sure what that is. I'm not a serious off-roader myself. And then of course you got air down mode right here where you can set a PSI to air your tires down to. And as you deflate the tires, it'll honk the horn to tell you when you're at that deflation point. And like I covered in the first video, there are some controls in this screen which are going to annoy some people that they're not physical buttons and switches anymore, such as your headlight controls up here in the top. You got more controls over here like your power window lockout, traction control, auto high beams, front fog lights, hill descent control, that kind of thing are all right here in the screen instead of physical buttons or knobs. And below that are your climate controls. I love that Chevrolet didn't integrate these into the screen. They're all right here, physical controls right below the screen, easy to use, easy to reach, and you don't have to dig through menus. And of course you got multiple drive modes in this truck, which you'll select using this wheel right here around the four-wheel drive controls. Check them out up here in the screen. First of all, we got normal mode for, of course, normal road and highway driving. Off-road mode for your basic off-roading uses. Tow haul mode, we all know what that is. terrain mode for more serious, more technical off-roading. And then you've got Baja mode right here, which of course is going to be your high-speed off-road for sand and whatnot. And now we'll take a quick glance at the back seat. I'm not going to go into detail back here, and I'm not going to sit back here. I already did that on the standard ZR2. But just like up front, you get the black and Artemis back here. It looks really nice. You get the same treatment as the front, except you do not get the stitching in the headrest, unfortunately, but whatever. You get some decent room, but not as much as a larger truck like a Silverado. You get some charging back here, two different USB ports and a household type port right here. And you get some under seat storage right here. Just pull the lever and lift up on that seat right there. Lift up on both of them. You get a little bit of under seat storage. That's also where you're going to find your jack and tire tools, that kind of thing. All right, let's get up under the hood of this thing, talk about our powertrain. Just a second. That's better. All right, let's talk about this engine. No matter which version of the new Colorado you get, you're getting a 2.7 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine, no matter what you get. Lower models are going to get one that produces 240 horsepower, but if you get your higher trims, such as the ZR2 and this, the ZR2 Bison, you're going to get the more powerful version known as the Turbo Max, which just so happens to be the same 2.7 liter turbo for that Chevrolet offers in the Silverado full-size trucks. Power from this thing, 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy for your standard ZR2 sits right around 17 city, 19 highway. I'd say this thing might get a hair worse with, of course, the larger tires, and there's bound to be a little bit more weight from the extra skid plating and that kind of thing. But I'd say still pretty close. Still not great, under 20, but you're not buying this for fuel economy, you're buying this thing to go off-road. 8-speed automatic transmission is the only thing you have in between the engine and the rear wheels. No other transmission options, and sorry, no manuals. Car and Driver tested the standard ZR2 to right around 7.1 seconds, 0 to 60. I don't know, this thing might be close. Maybe a little bit slower because once again, added weight and bigger tires. But once again, that's not where you're buying this thing. You're buying this thing for serious off-roading. And then there's pricing. So like I said before, your ZR2 Colorado is going to start you right here at $46,800. Then you're going to add your Bison package, which is $11,700. Right here's a list of everything you get. I showed you that on the truck. You get a lot of great upgrades for this thing because once again, this is a more serious off-roader than even the standard ZR2. Of course, your ZR2 convenience package right here, technology package right here, premium audio system's another $500, plus there's always destination. Total price for this example as equipped, just a hair over $63,000. All right, that's gonna do it for the tour of the absolute coolest version of the new Chevy Colorado. Now let's get this thing out on the road, take it for a drive. Folks, we'll get back to the video in a sec, but before we do, I want to ask y'all a quick favor. If you like this video so far, then make sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. When you're done here, go back to the channel and watch the rest of my videos, and if you like what you see, then be sure to subscribe to the channel so you'll never miss another review video. I've got a lot of videos in the works right now, probably more than I can handle, and hopefully we'll have those coming out on a regular basis. So if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. Anyways, let's get back to this ZR2 Bison video. All right, let's get out here and drive the Colorado ZR2 Bison. Now, I don't reckon that this is going to be a lot different from driving the standard Colorado ZR2. What you've got on this thing is a lot of skid plating underneath. You've got tires that are 2 inches bigger than the standard ZR2, and you've got a little bit more of a lift, which does make it a little bit more difficult to climb into this thing if you're short or you're not limber. But that's something I would just deal with regardless. That way you don't sacrifice ground clearance just to have steps on the side of the truck, because who wants to sacrifice ground clearance in a truck like this? All right, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room now, and that is the view out the back window. I'm sure that's the first thing you noticed when I started this clip. I showed y'all that bed-mounted vertical spare tire carrier from the outside, and it already looked pretty huge. But now just look at the view, or should I say lack thereof, out of the rear window. That is your biggest compromise as far as visibility in this truck. Otherwise, visibility is pretty nice, just like in your standard Colorados. Visibility is nice, except for that right there. And that's where this truck would benefit from having a digital rear view mirror camera instead of just a standard rear view mirror. Now, General Motors was one of the first companies to start putting these out. And it's an amazing piece of equipment, especially when you have an SUV or a truck or something. It's big, you might have a bunch of stuff in the back, and you still want to be able to use your rear view mirror. Unless you have that camera, that's severely compromised. So what I don't understand is why Chevy elected not to include that rear view mirror camera in the ZR2 Bison with that spare tire carrier. I think that is definitely an obvious choice that they should have went with that they didn't. Maybe here in the future they'll start building it with that or offer it as an upgrade or something. I'm sure there's a lot of journalists out there that are going to say, just like me, they should have included that. But anyway, let's talk about what it's like to be in this truck. Like I said, it's not much different from your standard ZR2 Colorado. It's actually nice and comfortable in here. I've got the cooled seats on right now. This hardcore off-road mid-size truck comes with heated and cooled seats in it. And I'm running those cool seats right now. It's 81 degrees outside, and these things feel great. As far as noise, you are gonna hear some noise from the engine. It is a turbocharged 4-cylinder, and as is the nature with 4-cylinder engines, you're gonna hear some noise, especially if you get on it hard. You're gonna hear some engine noise out of that thing. But that's what you should expect with a 4-cylinder engine. Don't be surprised by that. As far as tire noise, there might be some tire noise out of this thing, but even with those upgraded 35s, there's not a whole lot. Those particular tires they chose, I guess, have a tread pattern that works well on pavement as well. So yeah, maybe a little bit, but really it's not enough for most people to care, myself included. But if it does bother you, just turn the radio on or crank the AC fan up on high. You won't hear the tires, I promise. Now, as far as ride quality in this thing, it's not all that bad. Yes, this suspension is very off-road tuned, so you're gonna feel things. It's not like it's gonna soak everything up, but it's not incredibly harsh. Now I'm driving over some industrial park road. It's not in the best shape, but that being said, it could be far worse. I think once you get this thing out on the highway and start cruising, not gonna be a problem whatsoever. And it's not unwieldy, even with the bigger tires and the added lift. I'm even surprised by the way this thing handles. I mean, obviously you're gonna get body roll because it is an off-road truck, but it could be worse. You still feel the turns, but it could be far worse. So, overall thoughts on the Colorado ZR2 Bison. Well, much like the standard Colorado, I like this. It's a great truck. It's got a lot of cool features on it. I like that it's not unwieldy. It's not too much more to drive than the standard ZR2. It's easy, it's not intimidating. Mostly though, I love the upgraded AEV features, and just like with the regular Colorado, lots of great tech. Love the screens, comfortable heated cooled seats. Got pretty much all the modern conveniences you'd expect for a modern vehicle. I definitely enjoy this truck. Now, $63,000 is a lot of money, and this is a lot of truck. If you think that's something you can stomach, then I say by all means definitely go check one of these out. If you're a serious off-roader, I think you'll really like it. But anyways folks, that's going to do it for today's video. Like I said before, if you want to see the full in-depth review of the new Colorado ZR2, I will put a link in the description to the video of the standard ZR2 so you can get a full in-depth review of everything this truck is about. This video is simply a follow-up to cover the ZR2 Bison specifically. Anyways folks, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I hope it was informative and helped you to make a decision whether or not you'd like to consider one of these trucks. Once again, huge special thanks to the folks at West Chevrolet of Alcoa, Tennessee for allowing me to use this truck for today's review. Once you're done watching, make sure you check the description below for a link to their website where you can check out their amazing inventory. Send them some business because they're awesome folks letting me review these cars. Anyways guys, thanks you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.